Hello, my name is Abigail Spanberger, and I represent Virginia's 7th Congressional District, and I am running for re-election. The climate crisis has had real impact on Virginia, like other states, and we are at risk of facing really dire impact if we do not act or if we refuse to meet this moment. We've seen increased coastal flooding, more intense and frequent storms, and longer droughts. And clean energy represents the easiest solution for us to fight the climate crisis, and because we know it works. It's affordable, proven, and has added health benefits, certainly through the reduction of air and water pollutions. We know that supporting clean energy deployment is not just about combating the climate crisis, it's also about jobs and affordable utility bills for Virginians. With low operating costs and no fuel costs, each new megawatt of renewable energy can help drive down the cost of energy overall for consumers and businesses alike. And that's combating inflation and providing much needed relief to families and their budgets across Virginia. And importantly, Virginia has long been ranked as one of the best states in which to do business. And by investing in clean energy, we're not only bringing new jobs to Virginia, but we can continue to attract large companies to the state, many of whom have net zero greenhouse gas or 100% clean energy goals that are starting as soon as 2030. So this Congress, we have taken many steps to bolster domestic clean energy deployment, most notably through the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act and the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. And moving forward, there is more that we can do. We need to support more transmission lines and grid improvements between different regions. Because if we don't have the right grid infrastructure, there is no way to appropriately leverage these resources nationally. And that creates inefficiencies and challenges some of the incentives meant to be part of our transition to renewable energy. And next, we need to focus on advanced battery storage technologies. Frankly, it is absolutely unacceptable that the Chinese Communist Party has increasingly taken ownership over the future of the battery storage industry, when the United States should be dominating and leading the way. And that will allow for the production of renewable energy to, of course, be stored and used in communities like those I represent and across the country. And finally, we need to remove market barriers that may exist wherever possible. I've said it before, clean energy means affordable energy. By having no fuel costs and low operating costs, clean energy will ultimately compete with fossil fuel energy in the long run. But in the meantime, we have to ensure that long existing incentives that do favor fossil fuels and disincentivize investment in clean energy are removed. And in Congress, I have focused on boosting rural deployment by making it easier for electric co-ops to make the switch to clean energy. And I'm glad that in the Inflation Reduction Act, we started this process with nearly $10 billion as an investment in cooperatives. So we need to continue this focus to make sure that rural communities are not left behind. And as we saw during the wide-scale deployment of water, electric, and more recently broadband internet infrastructure, we have seen this trend in the past, and we should ensure it doesn't occur this time. Additionally, as part of the upcoming Farm Bill process, I'm going to continue to work to bolster on-farm clean energy deployment through the strategic improvements that we've been working on to the Renewable Energy for America program, the REAP program, which is administered under USDA. I also look forward to contributing my support as chair of the Conservation and Forestry Subcommittee to economy-wide and power sector solutions to the climate crisis that can establish market-based mechanisms to incentivize clean energy deployment and greenhouse gas reductions, particularly in rural communities. I think too often our party's clean energy message really is marketed towards suburban or urban communities and leaving rural communities kind of out of the discussion or wondering whether or not they would actually benefit from some of the wide-scale deployment of clean energy and clean energy jobs. And so I think moving forward, one of the ways that you all could help is certainly to ensure that the message, the economic benefits, the job opportunities that exist in clean energy are not just isolated to one particular region or area, and in fact that there are many ways that our investments in clean energy as a nation really will be beneficial across all regions, all community types, and certainly across the entirety of the 7th District in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And so making sure that information is accessible and inclusive of the various different communities that I represent as an example, I think is an important step forward.